Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to D.I.Y Overland and welcome to another episode of the Overland Garage. And in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to turn an ordinary canopy for the bed of your truck into a sweet overlanding setup. So let's say you are just like me and you are now wanting to put a topper on the back of your truck. Now there is so many options out there and there's some really nice overlanding toppers that are available. But if you're like me, you don't want to spend $3,500 on a topper. Now, granted, there's some pretty sweet ones online, but not everybody can just go run out and jump on getting a $3,500 topper. Now, if you wanted to get a brand new fiberglass one, you're gonna pay pretty high dollar as well. But in this video, I'm gonna show you guys how to set up a topper on a budget. Yes. Now, you can find these fiberglass toppers on Facebook Market for a relatively decent price. With this one, this is going to be going on my Tacoma, and it's a pretty good brand. I really do like this brand. They make good quality toppers. But the beauty about this is you can find these fiberglass ones a lot easier and a lot cheaper than those high-end overlanding ones. I found this canopy for 500 bucks. That was a steal. So, first thing we're going to do to this topper is I'm going to change the color because red and silver don't go together. And I'm going to show you guys how to do painting on a budget. And for this canopy, the color choice that I am going to go with is black. Simple, easy. Black will go well with silver because I'm already doing a silver and black theme. That'll work out perfect. So, let's dive in and talk about what I'm going to use to paint this. So when it comes to painting your canopy, there's several different ways you can go about it. If you have the money, just take it down to your local auto body repair place and they can paint it whatever color you want. But if you've got the money to do that, then you might as well buy a brand new canopy and they can color match it and you're ready to go right when you go to pick up the canopy. But if you're like me, and you're on a budget, this is for you. So, let's say you want to paint your canopy the exact same color of your vehicle. Well, you can go a couple ways about it. Most of your Napa stores, your CarQuest stores, and then you've also have your PP&G, 3M paint stores, they can mix up your automotive paint. And you are going to pay a lot more for that paint. I believe, oh, what was it? Half a gallon of paint was like 80 bucks for the same color as my Tacoma, that silver. It's pretty steep. Then, so you've got your single stage and you've got your two stage when it comes to your automotive paint. Now, single stage means that the clear coat is mixed in with the paint, so it's a single stage. You shoot it, you're done. Two stage is where you apply your paint, your color only, and then you have to come back and you have to seal it with a clear coat. Now, your clear coat can be shiny, it can be flat, it can be matte, whatever. You have to clear it, or sorry, you have to seal it with a clear coat. Now, you are going to get a much better finish going that way, but there's another way to go about it, and this is what I'm going to do. So I am not going to color match this Canopy to the Tacoma because I'm kind of going with a black and silver theme. So I'm going to go with black. And honestly, most of your higher end overlanding canopies are simply black. So I think that's going to look pretty good. Now, here is the paint that I have chosen. Good old Ace Rust Stop paint. So you can get it in a 1 gallon form. You can get it in an aerosol can form. And you can also get it in your quart, 1 quart size form. Now, the beauty about this paint is it's actually quite durable, and you can get it in a gloss or flat finish. And the beauty about it is this paint is a single stage, so one and done. Don't have to put a clear coat over it. You can put a clear coat over it if you want to increase the life of the paint. Now, is this as good of quality as automotive paint? No, it is not. But I have used this paint for a lot of projects, and it actually holds up quite well for over time. So the cool thing about going this direction is one of these cans is $8, okay? And a gallon, I believe, is now up to about 45 to 50 bucks for a gallon. Hey, that's pretty sweet. Where I was paying $80 for something like this in the automotive. Ouch, right? So the only downside is with the Ace Rust Stop, you're very limited on your color choice. So here I've got gloss black. You can also get it in a satin black like this. And here's an example of a different color. They've got gloss smoke gray. So you've got a few options, but not a lot of options. Now, when it comes to applying this paint to the canopy, you can go about it a couple of different ways. You can reduce the paint so it can be a spray-on application with an automotive spray gun. And a good way to reduce it is your acetone. This is a great way to reduce your paint. But I'm going to do it a little bit differently. So I was experimenting around with some other projects, and I found a really cool, unique way to apply the paint. And now don't laugh at me too hard about this. I'm going to be actually applying it by a foam roller. Yep. I'm going to be rolling it on. Just like that. And what I found is using a roller actually applies the paint quite thickly. And so you do have to be careful about that. You don't want to put way too much paint on there, because it will actually, it'll crack out and it actually won't look too good. So it'll leave kind of a unique texture that I kind of like, and you'll be able to see it down the road when I start painting. And yeah, I kind of like it. So I'm going to go that route. Now, I'm not going to be able to get everything with just that roller. So that is why I've got an aerosol can, because the aerosol can is going to be able to get all of these areas right here and right here, where the roller is not going to be able to make contact. So when I go to paint this, what I'll do is I'll have everything masked off that I don't want painted, right? What I'll do is I'll come in and I'll paint around with the aerosol can, and I'll make sure I get some good coats, right? And then once I'm done with the aerosol can, okay, then I'll use my roller to come in and hit the main body of the canopy, right? And it'll blend very nicely. It'll blend very nicely. So that is the method that I'm going to be taking, is the lower budget side, and I think the finish is actually going to turn out really well.
Well, enough chatting. Let's start making some things happen. Well, first thing I'm going to do is remove this back glass, because it's just going to make sanding and painting so much easier. Once I got the back glass removed, I went around and covered a few items with some tape, just as a safety precaution, because I did not want to nick these with the sander. And this is just something simple that you can do to help reassure that you're not going to accidentally sand something that you didn't want to. Even though this precaution can be tedious and time consuming, it really does pay off in the long run, because if you nick something that you didn't want the sander to hit, next thing you know, you've got to replace it or buff it out or something like that. So it's worth it in the end to just take the extra time to cover things that you don't want the sander to hit.
Man, Dusty! Well, here's a little trick that I wanted to share with you guys when you are sanding. So, okay. So, when you're sanding with very fine grit sandpaper, this is going to be more of an issue versus if you're sanding with like 120, you know, 180, stuff like that. So when I was sanding this, obviously you guys could see how it was turning this white, right? And that white means that the surface of that clear coat has been scuffed. Now, when you start sanding, you create a lot of dust, right? And that dust gets smeared around, and then you come to, you know, then you think you've got it all sanded. Well, that's why after you get done sanding, it's really important to use air, or you can wipe this off with a degreaser. But can you see that area right there? That spot right there, I thought I sanded. That spot right there, that spot right there. So all those areas, see, even like right here, that area needs to be sanded more. That area right there needs to be sanded more. That spot right there needs to be sanded more. So even like right here, you can see, if I ignored those areas thinking that they were sanded, well, guess what? The paint's not going to stick. So that's why after I do one initial sanding all across my project, then I will blow it off or wipe it off, and I will inspect to see if there's any more areas that I need to touch up, and there is quite a bit. So I'm gonna finish blowing this thing off, and then I will hit it with the sander one more time. Make sure that I hit all those low-lying areas that I missed, and then I'll move on to the hand sanding.
It's so easy to run out of patience when it comes to sanding and prepping, but you got to remember it's super important. Prep is everything. The better you do at your prep work, the better the results are going to be on your paint job. So, even though it can get quite frustrating, take your time, step away if you need to, then come back, but because in the end, you'll be much happier with the results.
Okay, the hand sanding is finally done. Yay! That's probably like the worst thing when it comes to prepping. It's just the hand sanding. It takes forever. And you got to make sure you get every little nook and cranny, and yeah. Anyways, canopy's looking great. All nicely sanded and ready to go. All right, so now I blew it off, but there's still a whole bunch of sanding residue, dust and whatnot on this, and we need to clean it. Now remember how I was talking to you about oil? So let me show you something. Yesterday I got hungry, had some popcorn, and somehow, some way, a piece of popcorn landed on the canopy. Oil, oil. So that is the difference. And you can see even just the oil from my fingers. That's what I was telling you about. So you can see the difference when something gets on the canopy and it doesn't. So I got to make sure that I clean that area really well. So here is what I recommend for cleaning. Now, acetone is a great way to clean the surfaces. You do have to be careful with acetone because if you wipe over any plastic or anything like that, it is actually going to start breaking down your plastic. And I even believe rubber as well. Now, paint thinner is a great way to degrease your surfaces, and it's not as harmful to plastics and rubbers and things like that. This will get you your most ultimate cleaning. This will clean and it will not damage anything. So this is what I'm going to be using. And another good thing to use is just straight up paper towels. The paper towels do really good at locking in all of the oil and the grease and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get a paper towel nicely drenched with the paint thinner, and then I'm going to wipe down the entire canopy, and then after I get it wiped down, then I'm going to come back and mask off everything that I do not want to get painted.
Masking or taping is actually a very important job, and this is a job that you're really going to want to take your time, because if you don't get your edges laid down where you want it, you're gonna see it when you go to pull that tape up after you get done painting. And when you've got a big color difference like this canopy, for example, with the red and then it's gonna go to black, everywhere that I miss is gonna pop out like a sore thumb. So I'm gonna go real slow, make sure my edging is really good, and make sure I don't miss anything. After I got done taping all the edges, I used newspaper to help cover the windows. This is a cheap way to do it, and hey, it's free because my neighbor gets the newspaper and then she gives it to me. Finally, time to start laying some paint. Well, I'm going to use the aerosol can to get into the hard to reach areas where the roller is not going to be able to get. Once I get a couple of coats around all of these areas, then I will start rolling the paint on.
Oh yeah. Well, I let the paint cure for about a day, and I actually like the finish that turned out. It was exactly what I was going for, but it's not right. You know, sometimes when you work on projects, you're experimenting, and I have to say, this was an experiment that the finish is exactly how I wanted it, but the finish also wasn't exactly how I wanted. And let me show you. So it's kind of hard. Well, maybe it'll pick up for you guys. But like right here is a really good example. You've got a darker, then you've got the kind of matte or the satin that it's supposed to be, and then you've got a darker. So, oh, there you go. Can you see that, guys and gals? That right there. So the texture, like I said, that orange peely, like I actually love the texture on it, but I cannot deal with this whole different color thing. And you can actually see it up here. So, painting with a roller is a no-go. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bust out the spray gun and we're going to spray it. So then that way all of the finish is consistent. But hey, it's okay. You know, when you do these projects, sometimes that's just what happens and you gotta improvise. Ooh, it's a bright sunny day. Well, let's run over to Ace and get ourselves some more acetone. Let's take a nice little drive in the little Yoder. Oh. Gotta love diesel. All right. And that is why I nicknamed this truck Smokey. All right, let's go for a little cruise and get myself some supplies. in town to get Chinese food? Oh yeah. Oh look, spot that I like to park in all the time is available. Oops, and don't hit the, what is that? Potting soda? Yep. There it is. Oh. Paint there. Ooh. Why do things have to get so expensive these days? Yeah, perfect. Alright, got what I need. So let's check out and head back home. And we'll just throw that right there, call it good. Dig out the key. Where are they? Oh, okay. Hey sir, your diesel's too loud. Shh. All right. Well, back to the Overland garage. Ooh, wonder what's on the tunes. Oh, nothing today. Maybe. Oh. Usually I get some interference around whatever that place is. All right. Hey. Oh yeah. Gotta love AM radio only. I love driving this thing. So, on a lot of these older trucks, they didn't come with AC. And if you did have AC, you were paying for quite a bit. You had a fancy truck back in the day. Well, this is one of the fun things about old trucks. This is your AC. Oh yeah, good old wing windows. Tell you what, on a hot day like today, if you're wearing yourself a pair of shorts, stick your knee up like this, right? And that wind, usually it finds its way up your shorts. And it cools you right down. I don't know why, but I love these old Toyotas so much. It's funny because I've got a pretty nice Tacoma, and if somebody hands me the keys to all the vehicles that I've got, I pick this one every time. The black truck I absolutely love driving, but I don't know what it is. This old Toyota truck, this 81, I just absolutely love this thing. And maybe it's because I used to have an 83 and I did so much adventuring in my 83, and maybe that's why. I just feel like I have a much greater connection to this age of truck, this body style, than the other vehicles. Who knows?
So since I have a really nice texture on the canopy, my goal is with the spray gun is to lay down just a really light coat of paint to make the finish all the same. And if I lay it just right, I'll be able to have that nice consistent finish, but still be able to see that texture that I was going for. I let the canopy sit overnight. That way the paint can cure enough to where I can work with the canopy of doing the reassembly and also pulling off the tape. Now there's just something satisfying about pulling your masking tape off after you have resprayed something. It just gives you that ultimate like ta-da moment, and you can finally take it in and go, yeah, this looks good. Well, the finish turned out perfect. The texturing turned out perfect, and I am loving the results of this canopy so far. Well, I hope this encouraged you to get out and tackle whatever project you have lined up for your truck. I hope you guys enjoyed this little DIY project, and there's still more to come on this canopy. I want to make some load bars for mounting the rooftop tent to. Also, I want to make some exterior MaxTrack mounts that are going to cover the side windows for protection. Well, stay tuned for part 2, where that is what I will be doing. Next project is going to be the load bars for the top of the canopy. And until next time, we'll see you guys out on the trail. And hey, don't forget to subscribe, pass these videos along to your friends, and comment down below about your guys' DIY projects that you've done.
Done. Sweet. Alrighty. Well, it's mounted. It looks wonderful. So now that I've got it mounted, it's time to accessorize it.